Hello, Kyle. Could you please give an introduction about yourself?
My name is Kyle, and I'm from the USA, the United States of America, and I am in the entertainment industry.
hmm What sort of entertainment? Let's get into that.
So, my expertise comes from and stems from documentary work originally. And because of the success in that, I was able to branch out, and now I work for a major television show.
Okay, quite an interesting start. So you say documentaries. Is it something you were into before you joined the real world, or was that something you got into after?
So, before I joined the real world, about a year and a half ago, I was going in and out of the film industry, documentary work to be specific, as as well I was pursuing my professional dancing career. And that was interesting. It wasn't a money making thing, it was just a passion thing. And then after during COVID is then I realized, you know what? I've got to make a change. And so that's when I retired from professional dancing and I delved into headfirst into the film industry. And
Mhm.
because of discovering TRW and discovering the Tates and their mindset, that is when a lot has changed since then.
Okay. Uh, what kind of dancing did you do?
Ballroom dancing, Latin.
Okay, I don't know too much about dancing. I thought maybe it would be something I know a bit more about, but I know nothing about it. Apologies, but
That's okay.
pretty cool. So you said you were doing it as a passion, and then a lot changed after having joined the real world. So let's start getting into that. What campus did you get into when you actually joined?
The campus that I joined originally was content creation, and then eventually I was able to get into affiliate marketing.
Mhm,
But it was the content creation campus plus AI that I really took off because that
mhm,
gave me the skill set that I needed to work and improve my editing skills.
mhm. Okay, and then one more thing I wanted to ask is, when you saw that things weren't working out for you around 2020, what was it specifically about that? Was it the realizing you actually need money for freedom because of what happened with COVID, or was it something else?
It was that for sure. I also was dating someone at the time, and this woman, she saw in me that I was becoming complacent, and I saw that as well. And upon reflection, I decided, you know what, I need to make a change. She left, and if I was her, I would have left me as well. And so I'm taking accountability for that. And that was about a year and a half ago. And because of all that complacency and losing my little 9 to 5 job that I had at the time, not knowing where I was going to go, it's when I discovered the Tates
Mhm,
and discovered, you know what? I'm the type of guy who needs a very swift kick in the pants. And by learning from my own mistakes, that is how I've been able to achieve what I've been able to
mhm.
achieve, which is, I know, not, it's usually best to learn from others' mistakes, but I've learned the hard way. And that's okay.
Yeah,
And
sometimes it is best to actually experiment for yourself, and then it's better sometimes to experience it for yourself because then it'll be a stronger belief system than just listening to someone else. So there's positive and negatives to each. Then
yeah.
very cool that you done the self reflection and realized that you have a lot to improve on. That there was some issues from your end for the relationship, and then here you are now. I'm sure you worked on that, and it's fueled you to get to where you are now as well, part of it. So let's continue on that trajectory. You said you got into video editing. How did you go about learning video editing? Did you actually have any prior experience with video editing when doing the documentaries, or was it more a different thing that you were doing with them? Give a bit more context there.
Yeah, so throughout high school, throughout college, I was dabbling in little projects here and there, learning editing skills, learning production skills. I actually had some family members that were in the industry as well. And I was dabbling in and out, and I was thinking to myself, no, I want to do my own thing. That's why I pursued the dancing career. And it was all good and dandy. But it wasn't until COVID or around that time and around the girl leaving me that I finally realized I needed to make a change. And that's when I delve, like I said before, into TRW. But
Okay.
back to your original question, though, I thoroughly I wasn't very skilled in production, but I was just starting really small. I was a grip. I
Mhm.
started as a PA, things like that in the industry.
Got it. Then you're saying you developed your content creation skills, and how did that lead to you landing clients? What happened there?
Yeah. So I had to initially I mean, the campus talks about doing free work to gain traction. I know those are not the words that it uses. That's the words I use. And
Mhm.
to gain traction, that is showing potential future clients that you can actually do what you say you can do. And by doing that, I delved into filming dancing. I filmed fitness. Those were my two niches that I really started to attack. And now I'm starting to do music videos. That's a little bit still on the forefront of working on things. So that's the type of clientele that I was able to achieve that I supplement my main income with. All those are things that I've learned through the TRW, through the campus of content creation, through the Pope.
Yep. So you had your target audience, let's call it, or time target clientele. How did you go about actually outreaching to them? Was it Instagram DMs, emails, calling? What was the process there?
So what's really interesting is that method, it works. However, I've always been such a face-to-face person. In fact, that is how I was able to get the TV show job that I have now, was face-to-face networking. I know that face-to-face networking is one of the best ways, because then you can really showcase everything about yourself.
Mhm.
And that is how I was able to gain those types of clientele. But how did I do that? I'm hearing myself talk and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I do it? So I'm a very social butterfly. I'm a social person because I have a dance background. I go social dancing, 1 to 3 times a week. And because of that, I'm consistently meeting and talking to all these people, other guys, other gals. And there's a lot of them out there that are saying things like, oh, I just don't have any skill sets that, to make the type of media that I need. And I say, well, I can help you out with that. And so that's how I've gained clientele, and then word of mouth, talking from client to client. But
Mhm.
however, I need a lot more than that to be able to get rid of doing the TV show work, to be able to work 100% of my own clientele through my own production company. And
Mhm.
so through that, I'm learning more through the campus work or the coursework about getting clientele.
Okay. So learning to scale. Were you always a social person, or was that something that developed over time?
So I've always been a social person. However, I actually suffered a brain surgery, a TBI 10 years ago. I have a scar right here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I got hit by a garbage truck, and I am very fortunate and very thank you, Heavenly Father, thank you, God, that I was able to live, and it's a miracle that I survived. And because of that, it has activated an entire new source of socialness, I could say. I feel as though that I'm more social now than I was before, which is really interesting to say, because typically TBI patients, they struggle with a lot. They struggle
Mhm.
with talking, they struggle with finding their words, which is still always a struggle, especially when I'm tired, but it's it's interesting. My personality had changed just a little bit. And so I've decided to take that and take that as a positive. And so that is how I've become even more social.
Very interesting. Okay. So it wasn't something that you needed to put deliberate practice towards after the accident. It just kind of came natural after.
I would say that obviously I had to
Huh.
practice. I have to
Well, yeah,
practice,
yeah, but
you know,
still
but
interesting.
yeah, but yeah, I would definitely say that after the accident, I've become even more social.
Okay,
It's
so I
weird.
guess a positive that came out of it.
Yeah.
All right, then let's get back to learning how to scale now. What
Mhm.
plans do you actually have for continuing to scale?
So my plans to scale are to continue with the same exact methods that they teach in TRW, the campus that I'm in, content creation, because those are proven to work. And so by continuing to push forward and to delve deeper into those, then I'll be able to scale properly.
Mhm. What does scale properly mean, and how much are you actually earning currently?
So I would say maybe 65% of my income is from my TV show work. And that is, I attribute a lot of that, my success in that, because of TRW through
Mhm.
networking and through the skill set that I learned from editing. However, there's more of it to that. That is my actual clientele that I have, other 40%, which is the fitness content and the dance content. I've actually been I actually was lucky enough to be asked to go film at other dance festivals. I've done four in the last couple of months, Nashville, Dallas, Texas, to name a few. And so that is that was only doable through my editing skills. Number one, that I learned through TRW, and then also my um, continuing to reach out to find more clientele. So
Mhm.
because of that work, it's spreading within that industry, within that niche, because everybody knows everybody. And so
Mhm.
word of mouth is extremely important, especially with dancers and social people like myself. So back to the question though of how I'm planning to move forward, it's to continue with that methodology along with delving even deeper into the ways that the Pope teaches.
Okay. And then the other question for what has that resulted in terms of income so far?
Well, where it is the results is through all that combined is I hit my first 10K month this last month, and I am so ecstatic about it. When I
Mhm.
saw the numbers by the end of the month in the top 20 people in the campus, I was like, "What? I'm number 9, I believe. What? How is that possible?" And I looked back at my history of me showing my wins. What? Wow. And so
Mhm.
it's given me that fire to continue through and continued to push through to gain even more momentum. So I'm looking forward a lot.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And for dance festivals and the videos you make for them, is it purely just intuitive? Like you come up on the fly how you want them to look? Or do you take inspiration from somewhere? How do you improve on them? I'm quite interested myself.
Yeah, no worries. So I actually have had the opportunity to watch family members work in the documentary industry since I was 12, 13 years old. And like I said, touching in and out of that industry, I've learned the production skills. And currently, my employer now, who works for the TV show, he has said that I have the eye. The eye is one thing that really can't be taught. It's
Mhm.
one of those things that you either have it or you don't. It doesn't mean that you can't obtain the eye, right, to a degree, but by having that natural ability
Mhm.
to compose a shot correctly, that is magic. And that is what people, they really don't realize, that when they see a really good composed shot versus a poorly composed shot, that they think to themselves, oh, this one's just better. But why? They really don't know. So knowing those and having those skill sets is so important in the production world.
Mhm.
So but back to the festivals, back to the dance things, I really do. I go into those festivals knowing XYZ type of B-roll that I need to get, because I know how to compose a story correctly,
Mhm.
whether I'm going to edit the project or not. That is extremely important. Now, this is just a piece of advice for anybody looking to shoot video for any type of clientele. There's one simple thing that I've learned, and that is get your wide shot, get your medium shot, get tight, 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 tight. If you follow that principle, then you'll have enough content for whatever scene you're trying to portray.
Okay, very cool. And yeah, I guess a large part of that is how they actually compile everything you have at your disposal, which is where creativity comes in. So probably creativity is the part that usually can't really be taught from what I've seen.
Yeah, you're right about that. Creativity is one of those things that just comes naturally. I
Mhm.
mean, you can obviously sharpen the saw more and more,
Yeah, yeah,
but it's one of those things that you kind of have it or you don't.
yeah. Okay, then moving on to how different is your average day now compared to before you joined the real world? How
Oh
has it
my
changed?
gosh. That is such a good question. How my day is different than it was before joined TRW, the real world. Goodness gracious. It's nice because when I'm not shooting or not on the road for a production shoot or whatnot, I'm working on my own personal business. And my general basis, what I like to do is I like to go to the gym first because it sets the day right. And then after that, I go to work and I work for however long that I can go that day, whether I have a meeting with clients or whatnot. And then typically, depending on the day, I still like to go out and social dance. Now I know that that is how I balance my day because I am a social person. But it also, I kill two birds with one stone because by simply going out and showing myself, because I know I'm a good dancer, people ask me, "What do you do for work?" And I say, "Well, I'm actually in the content world. I shoot and I film and I edit." And so people, when they genuinely ask, "Oh, I actually need a content guy," that is how I succeed in networking. And so
Mhm.
that is typically my day.
Okay, very cool. And you're playing to your strengths because you're, as you said, you're a social person. So you put
Yeah,
yourself in situations where that shines
yeah.
and comes through. So yeah, great. Then, how different are your plans now also compared to before you joined? So just to clarify, before joining the real world, before knowing anything about it, what did you have planned out? Was it just to continue being a professional dancer? Was it something else? And then yeah, how has your plans changed since?
So before I discovered TRW, before I discovered the Tates at all, that was after I had left the dance world. So there was a
Mhm.
lull, a time of my life for about a year where I didn't know what I was going to do. I still had the opportunity to go back to university, general university, to get a degree. In fact, I'm still in it because I'm a man of my word and I promised my father that I would finish. I'm doing it online along with these other things that I'm mainly doing. But that was my only my mindset. It was work my 9 to 5 that I had. I was a general manager at some location, not a restaurant, but at a place called Stretch Lab or whatever, which was great at the time. But I wasn't making any progress, and that is when I finally decided, you know what, I've got to get back to my skill set of film and production, and that's when I delved back into that. But that's where I was at the time. It was a lull. I also was 55 pounds heavier, believe it
Mm.
or not, and so I've lost all that weight as well because of TRW and the Tates constantly, giving me that spark to continue to work hard.
Awesome. Love to hear that. And plans for future, if we were to go short term, medium term, long term, what do you have planned?
So to finish off this year, my goal is to continually get my clientele funnel continuing because I've been realizing that there are times when it's slow, there are times when it's very busy. There's a saying in the film industry where um, typically, it's either feast or famine. There's times of great famine where you don't have any clientele, and there's times where it's a lot over, lots of clientele. So I'm attempting the next 3 to 6 months to equalize that time where
Mhm.
it's either feast or famine because I want to try and make it more streamline, more consistent. That's for the next 3 to 6 months. For 6 to 12 months, or even a year out after that, I want to be done with this TV program, and I want to be 100% on my own production company, which is named True Production Company. True Video Productions is what it's called.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Very cool. Is there anything else to add there? Anything about what your parents think about what you're doing and the changes they've seen in you?
so they have seen immense changes over the last 2 years. The last 2 years of when I've become sober, I've
Mhm.
lost all this weight. I've become more disciplined in what I do. They're very impressed. And it wasn't just until a few months ago that I revealed to them the TRW of what it is that I've been doing for the last year and a half that I contribute to my success. And once they found that out of me telling them, they actually were very supportive. In fact, my father, he said to me, "Hey, I want to be in TRW as well." Now, has he done that yet? Not really, but he's been dabbling with it in his own head about him
Yeah.
wanting to learn more about AI and stuff like that. Because yeah, he's genuinely curious.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's not perfect. They're pretty hard on me. There are, like, I had a conversation with them a week ago, and they were questioning a lot of things that I was doing, but I'm going to charge forward with what I've been meaning to do for the last 2 years, and because it's working for me. So regardless of what people say.
Yep, yep. Sometimes that's what's required. And since you mentioned AI, have you actually implemented AI into the content creation you do, or have you not seen it as applicable?
Surprisingly, I have not. The biggest thing that clientele want are the cool transitions and stuff like that when I'm doing post production and editing. They don't really want or need AI, but I still am taking the courses because AI is the future, and I might pivot away from those fitness niche and from the dance niche to something else. So I need to be consistently sharpening the saw, like I said before.
Makes sense. Okay, so I'm happy to wrap up with a final question then. So, for people who are unsure about joining the real world, because they're thinking, what if they get scammed for $50? What advice would you have to them?
I can laugh at that because $50 is nothing, right? Now, if $50 is a little hard for you to come by, I get that. Everybody starts off at different parts of their life, but it's 100% worth it because if you actually do the work, because you can't gain success without hard work. If you do the work, you will find success. That's 100% guarantee.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Some people join, they think, I'll get rich quick from it, but it's more of a get rich through hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. And one last thing though, it is the hard work, but it's also TRW and the way that the Tates have taught and the professors, it's the mindset. It's all about the mindset because without the mindset, then you can't continue to work hard. And I also believe it also starts with being in shape because a strong body is a strong mind.
Hmm. Very well said. And that reminded me of a real world review I watched maybe a year and a half ago. And someone was saying, I joined just to check it out. And all I saw is a lot of mindset videos. Like there's so many mindset videos. I don't understand. Like, where's the actual um, content to learn how to make money? But I guess what they don't understand is first you need the mindset down, and then you'll be taught the money because you won't earn money without the right mindset. So yeah.
Exactly. And maybe they didn't know where the courses button
Maybe
was.
that as well. Yeah. Maybe they were just stuck on the main campus without realizing you could join other campuses.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Fair enough. All right. So yeah, Kyle, if people want to find out more about you or contact you, why could they do so?
So my Instagram, it's still being worked on. It will consistently be worked on, but it's named True Video Productions. However, True is spelled differently. It's actually my last name. So TREU Video Productions is my Instagram handle to be able to follow what it is that I'm working on. And the last thing that I'm also doing, there's a lot of things that I'm doing, is I'm actually managing a new country artist. His name is Houston Merill. So check him out on Spotify. He has over 5,000 listens already in the week and a half that we've launched his first song, and it's been great. So I can really see a bright future with that as well. So again, it's Houston Merrill.
Okay. So we'll add both to the description of video. So anyone interested can check that. And yeah,
Perfect.
Kyle, thank you for coming on and sharing your story. It was quite a unique one. So it was very interesting to listen to. And man, you're saying that scar on your head was pretty insane to see. Glad that you made it out of it because yeah,
Yeah.
that shit is brutal. Wow.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, and even potentially came out for the better after it because I just said like social skills it took a up. I don't know how to phrase it, but yeah, you get what I mean. Social skills
Yeah.
improved, and then you've been on an upward trajectory
Right.
for the past what has it been? Year and a half?
Year and a
So that's
half,
amazing.
two
Yeah.
years.
So great to see that, and will be cool to do a follow up at some point if you'll want in future, in 3 months, 6 months, somewhere in that time frame,
I I would
just to see how
love
you're doing.
I would love that.
Amazing. So until then, I wish you all the best.